My name is Isabel Moore, waitress, single mom, and the woman who was once threatened to disappear from her own son's life. I stayed silent for 5 years. I endured alone, raising my child in the shadows, while the man who once promised to protect me rose to power as a senator, and his mother watched our every move like a ghost cloaked in influence. I survived, day by day. But that night, at a lavish gala in the heart of Colorado, the past came crashing in. He saw me. He said my name. And the storm began. Before I share the rest of my story, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. Hit the like button and subscribe if you've ever fought through hardship for your family. Trust me, you'll want to hear what happens next. The champagne flute trembled in my hand as I recognized the laugh. 5 years, and that sound still made my chest tighten like someone had reached in and squeezed. I steadied the silver tray against my hip, keeping my face turned away from the crowd gathering near the ice sculpture. "More champagne, ma'am?" I offered to a woman draped in fur, my voice barely above a whisper. She waved me off without looking. Perfect. The less visible I was tonight, the better. Connor Blake. Of course he'd be here. The Aspen Heights Resort always drew political fundraisers during ski season, and Colorado's youngest senator would naturally be the star attraction. I should have called in sick when I saw the guest list, but rent doesn't pay itself, and single mothers don't get the luxury of hiding from their past. "Mommy's working late again," I'd told Eli this morning, pressing a kiss to his forehead. 4 years old and already used to my irregular schedule. Sarah, from housekeeping, had agreed to watch him in the employee break room. Not ideal, but better than leaving him with a stranger. I ducked behind a marble column, catching my breath. Through the crowd, I could see him now. The boyish face had sharpened into something more refined, more calculating. Designer suit, practiced smile, shaking hands like he was born to it. Which, knowing what I now knew about his family, he probably was. "Isabel, table 12 needs refills," Marcus called out, and I forced myself back into motion. Just another shift. Just another night serving Denver's elite while they congratulated themselves on their charity. The ballroom sparkled with false winter magic. Crystal chandeliers casting snowflake patterns on the walls, ice sculptures that would melt by midnight. Everything temporary, everything for show. I moved between tables like a ghost, invisible in my black uniform, just how I needed to be. Then I saw her, Eliza Blake, Connor's mother, holding court near the stage. Silver hair swept into an elegant chignon, diamonds at her throat that probably cost more than I'd make in 5 years. Our eyes met across the room, and something cold flickered in her expression. Recognition? No, that was impossible. She'd only seen me once, in that Seattle coffee shop where she'd made her position devastatingly clear. "Your son has a destiny," she'd said, sliding the check across the table. "Don't be the thing that derails it." I'd torn up the check. Stupid pride. Could have used that money when Eli was born 6 months later, when I was working 3 jobs and sleeping in 2-hour shifts. But I'd wanted nothing from the Blake family. Still didn't. A hand touched my elbow, and I nearly dropped the tray. "Sorry, didn't mean to startle you." The woman was young, sharp-eyed, press badge hanging from her neck. Nina Hartley, political correspondent. I'd seen her on the news, always digging where politicians didn't want her to. "You work here long?" "Few years," I managed, stepping back. She studied me with unsettling intensity. "You look familiar. Have we met?" I just have one of those faces. The standard deflection, practiced and smooth. "Excuse me, I need to—" "Isabel?" The world stopped. That voice, saying my name. I turned slowly, and there he was. Close enough to touch. Close enough to see the gold flecks in his green eyes that Eli had inherited. "I'm sorry," I said, voice steady through sheer will. "You must have me confused with someone else." But Connor Blake had always been too smart for his own good. His hand half reached toward me, then dropped. "It is you! God, Isabel, where did you— Excuse me, Senator, I have work to do." I turned on my heel, tray clutched like armor, and walked away. Behind me, I heard Nina Hartley's voice, smooth as silk. "Old friend, Senator?" My hands shook as I pushed through the service door into the kitchen. The prep cooks didn't look up, used to servers taking quick breaks. I leaned against the wall, heart hammering. 5 years. 5 years of carefully built walls, and one look from those green eyes threatened to bring it all crashing down. But I had more than myself to protect now. I had Eli. When I forced myself back into the ballroom 20 minutes later, a folded napkin waited on my tray station. Inside, scrawled in handwriting I didn't recognize. Your son has his father's eyes. Careful who notices. The champagne flute I was holding shattered against the floor. Jesus, Isabel, you okay? Marcus appeared with a broom, but I was already kneeling, gathering the broken glass with shaking hands. Fine, just clumsy. Blood welled on my thumb where a shard had bitten deep. I wrapped it in a cocktail napkin, the white fabric blooming red. Take 5, Marcus said, but I shook my head. Stopping meant thinking, and thinking meant panic. I needed to get to Eli. Now. I need to check onto something, I said. Cover for me? He nodded, already moving to handle my section. Good people were rare in this business. I'd have to remember to thank him properly later, if there was a later after tonight. The employee break room was 2 floors down, past the laundry and storage. My heels clicked against concrete stairs, each step echoing my racing heartbeat. The napkin's message burned in my pocket. Someone knew. Someone was watching. I found Eli curled on the worn couch, Sarah reading him a picture book. Relief flooded through me so hard my knees nearly buckled. Mommy! He launched himself at me, small arms wrapping around my neck. Sarah said you were serving fancy people. That's right, baby. I breathed him in. Johnson's shampoo and graham crackers, safety and innocence. Just checking on you? Sarah looked up, concern creasing her face. Everything all right? You look pale. Fine, just... I noticed it then. The campaign button pinned to Eli's dinosaur shirt. Blake for Colorado, in bold blue letters. My blood turned to ice. Where did he get this? Oh, some lady dropped by earlier. Said she was with the campaign, handing them out to staff. Eli wanted one because it was shiny. Sarah shrugged. That okay? No, nothing was okay. I unpinned it carefully, Eli protesting. It's scratchy anyway, baby. Here, you can have Mommy's bracelet instead. I slipped off my simple silver bangle, a birthday gift from myself last year. He immediately forgot the button, fascinated by how it caught the light. Did the woman say anything else? I tried to keep my voice casual. Just asked if any kids were around. Wanted to make sure they got buttons too. Sweet of her, really. Sweet, right. I kissed Eli's forehead, memorizing the moment. I have to go back to work. Be good for Sarah, okay? Okay, Mommy. Love you. Love you too, sweetheart. More than all the stars. Back in the stairwell, I allowed myself 30 seconds to fall apart. Hands pressed against rough concrete, breathing through the panic. Someone had come looking for Eli. Someone knew exactly where to find him. The ballroom felt like a different universe when I returned. Same twinkling lights, same classical music, same wealthy donors pretending to care about whatever cause they were supporting tonight. But now danger lurked beneath the glitter. Connor was at the bar, and our eyes met across the room. He started toward me, determination written in every line of his body. I turned away, but there was nowhere to run in a room full of witnesses. Please, he said quietly when he reached me. Just give me 5 minutes. I'm working. I know, He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture achingly familiar. I looked for you. After Seattle, you vanished. The laugh that escaped me was bitter. Did you? How hard? I called. I wrote. Your number was disconnected. Emails bounced back. Senator Blake? Nina Hartley materialized beside us like smoke. Mind if I steal you for a quick interview? My readers are dying to know your thoughts on the education bill. Connor's jaw tightened. In a moment, Ms. Hartley. But she wasn't looking at him anymore. Those sharp eyes were fixed on me, taking in every detail. I know where I've seen you before. Seattle, wasn't it? 5 years ago? You were at that climate change rally at UW. My mouth went dry. I'd been 8 months pregnant at that rally, desperate for anything to distract from Connor's abandonment. You must be mistaken. No, I never forget a face. You were... Her eyes widened slightly, pieces clicking together in that investigative reporter brain. Interesting, if you'll excuse me. I fled, not caring how it looked. Behind me, I heard Connor's voice, tight with frustration. What the hell was that about? In the kitchen, I splashed cold water on my face. The night was unraveling, thread by careful thread. 5 years of hiding, and it was all coming undone in a single evening. When I finally emerged, Marcus handed me a new tray. Table 8 needs champagne. And Isabel, whatever's going on, be careful. Even Marcus had noticed. I was leaving ripples everywhere, disturbing the carefully calm surface I'd maintained for so long. The rest of the shift blurred together, but my mind was 5 years in the past, drowning in memories I'd kept locked away. Seattle had been an escape. Fresh out of college, running from my mother's death and the mountain of debt she'd left behind. The coffee shop job barely covered rent, but at least the rain matched my mood. I'd been refilling the pastry case when he walked in. Connor Blake, law student, all easy confidence and impossible dreams. "I'll have whatever makes you smile," he'd said, and the line was so cheesy I'd actually laughed. First time in months. He came back every day for 2 weeks before asking me to dinner. I said no 3 times before finally agreeing, mostly to stop the other baristas from their merciless teasing. One dinner became 2, became walking the waterfront at midnight, became him reading law briefs aloud while I painted in his tiny apartment. 3 months, that's all we had. 3 months where I forgot to be careful, forgot that girls like me didn't get fairy tales with boys like him. His family was back in Colorado, old money, political dynasty, expectations he only mentioned when wine made him honest. "They've got my whole life mapped out," he'd said once, head in my lap as rain drummed against windows. Law school, junior partnership at my father's firm, state legislature by 30, then federal positions following the Blake family playbook. "What do you want?" I'd asked, fingers combing through his hair. "This," he'd said simply. "You, painting in the morning, bad coffee, no plan past tomorrow. But tomorrows have a way of arriving anyway." The fellowship to Oxford came in August. A year studying international law, all expenses paid, career-making opportunity. His father had pulled strings, called in favors. Connor had been torn, pacing his apartment like a caged animal. "Come with me," he'd said. "We'll figure it out. You can paint in England." But I'd seen the letter on his desk from Eliza Blake. "Remember your responsibilities. The girl is a distraction you can't afford." "I can't," I'd told him. "You should go. This is your future." "You're my future." The memory of those words still burned. Because a week later, he was gone. Changed his number before the plane landed, according to his roommate. The emails I sent to his Oxford address bounced back. User unknown. I'd found out about Eli 2 weeks after Connor left. Sitting on my bathroom floor, staring at 2 pink lines, knowing everything had changed. I'd tried his family's estate in Denver, desperate enough to swallow my pride. That's when Eliza Blake had appeared in my Seattle coffee shop like an avenging angel in Chanel. "How much?" she'd asked, checkbook already out. "I don't want money. I just need to tell Connor. Connor is building a life that doesn't include you." Each word precise as a scalpel. "If you care about him at all, you'll let him have it. He has a right to know. He has a right to the future he's worked for. You think you're the first girl to try this, getting pregnant to trap him? I didn't you?" She'd studied me like I was something stuck to her shoe. "A waitress with nothing to offer except problems. Connor will do great things if you don't ruin him first." The check she'd written had too many zeros. Enough to disappear, start fresh, never bother her precious son again. I'd torn it into pieces while she watched, chin high despite the tears. "Stay away from my son," she'd said, standing, "or I'll make sure you regret it. I have resources you can't imagine." She'd left me there, surrounded by coffee grounds and shattered dreams. I'd worked until my water broke, saved every penny, had Eli alone in a charity ward while rain slashed against windows. Those first months were hell. No sleep, no money, no one to spell me when exhaustion made me hallucinate. But Eli's eyes were Connor's eyes, and every time he smiled, I knew I'd made the right choice. The memory shattered as someone dropped a tray in the kitchen. Present day crashed back. The fundraiser, the threats. Connor here in the same building as his son. I delivered champagne to table 8 on autopilot, smile pasted on. The wages from tonight would cover Eli's asthma medication. That's what mattered. Not the past, not what ifs, not the way Connor kept looking at me across the room like I was a puzzle he needed to solve. At the dessert station, I found another note. Same handwriting. Check your phone. My personal cell was in my locker, turned off during shifts. But when I powered it on, a text waited from an unknown number. A photo of Eli at the playground last week, playing on the swings. Cute kid. Shame if something happened. My hands shook so badly I nearly dropped the phone. Someone had been watching us, following my son, taking pictures. Isabel? Marcus's voice made me jump. You've got a spill at table 4. Right, yes, on it. I shoved the phone in my pocket, but the image burned behind my eyes. Eli's face caught mid-laugh, unaware of the danger circling our small life. I grabbed towels from the supply station, moving on autopilot. Table 4 was near the stage where speeches had begun. Connor stood at the podium, talking about education reform, commitment to Colorado's families. His voice washed over me, familiar and foreign at once, because every child deserves a chance to reach their potential, regardless of their circumstances. I kept my head down, mopping spilled wine from white tablecloth. But I felt his eyes find me, saw him stumble over his next line. Sorry, where was I? He recovered smoothly, but Nina Hartley wasn't the only one who'd noticed. Whispers rippled through nearby tables. I fled back to the kitchen, towels clutched against my chest. The service hallway was empty, fluorescent lights harsh after the ballroom's soft glow. I needed to think, Going somewhere? I spun around. Eliza Blake stood behind me, elegant as ever, blocking the only exit. Mrs. Blake? My voice came out steadier than expected. Ms. Moore? She stepped closer, and I smelled her perfume, something expensive and cold. I thought I made myself clear 5 years ago. I work here, I didn't know. Don't insult my intelligence. Another step. We were alone in the narrow hallway, no witnesses. You knew Connor would be here. What's your game? Money? Publicity? Planning to sell your story to that reporter? I just want to be left alone. Then you should have stayed away. Her voice dropped, quiet and deadly. I know about the boy. My heart stopped. I don't know what... Save it. Did you really think I wouldn't keep tabs? Make sure you weren't going to be a problem? She pulled out her phone, showed me a photo. Eli at preschool. Eli at the doctor's office. Eli asleep in his bed. Cute child. Connor's eyes, unfortunately. But that can be handled. If you touch him, touch him. I'm not a monster, Ms. Moore. I'm a mother protecting her son. You have 48 hours to leave Colorado. I'll provide relocation assistance, generous assistance, new identity if needed. But you disappear, and you never contact Connor. He has a right to know. He has a right to the life he's building. A life that doesn't include bastards and gold diggers. The word hit like a slap. Bastard. That's what she saw when she looked at my son. Get out of my way, I said quietly. Or what? You'll make a scene? Go ahead. Security will escort you out. You'll lose your job. And then what? How will you pay for the boy's medication? Oh yes, I know about the asthma too. Amazing what money can uncover. Footsteps echoed from the kitchen. We both turned as Connor rounded the corner, stopping short when he saw us together. Mother? His eyes darted between us, taking in the scene. What's going on? Nothing, darling. Just having a word with the help about the wine selection. Eliza's transformation was instant. Cold threat to warm mother. Shouldn't you be mingling with the donors? I was looking for... He stopped, jaw tightening. Actually, I need to speak with Isabel, privately. Connor... Now, mother. They stared at each other, silent battle of wills. Finally, Eliza stepped aside, but not before leaning close to whisper, 48 hours. She swept away, leaving Connor and me alone in the harsh fluorescent light. He looked older up close. Tiny lines around his eyes, weight of responsibility in the set of his shoulders. Are you okay? You're shaking. I laughed, edge of hysteria creeping in. Am I okay? Your mother just... I stopped. What was the point? He'd never believed she'd threatened me 5 years ago. Why would he believe it now? Just what? Isabel, talk to me, please. I've spent 5 years wondering what happened. You disappeared. No explanation, no goodbye, nothing. You changed your number. What? No, He stopped, understanding dawning. My father, he got me a new phone for Oxford. International plan. I didn't think I'd need to reach you. I wrote you. Email, letters to your apartment. Everything came back. I moved. After Eliza's visit, I'd been too scared to stay. Why? He stepped closer, and I backed against the wall. We had plans. You were going to join me after... My phone buzzed. Another unknown number. Another message. Tell him and watch what happens to the boy. Connor saw my face change. What is it? Nothing. I have to go. Isabel, please, my voice cracked. Just let me go. I ran. Through the kitchen, past startled prep cooks, down concrete stairs. My heels clattered and slipped, but I didn't slow. Eli, I had to get to Eli, too. The break room door stood open. Empty. Sarah? My voice echoed off dingy walls. The dinosaur book lay abandoned on the couch, pages splayed. Eli's forgotten juice box leaked steadily onto worn cushions. Sarah? Bathroom! Someone called from the laundry. Saw her take the kid few minutes ago. The employee bathroom was down another hall. I burst through the door to find Sarah washing Eli's hands, both of them singing the ABC song. Mommy! Eli beamed, soap bubbles on his nose. I went potty all by myself. My knees nearly buckled with relief. Good job, baby. I scooped him up, holding too tight. Can't breathe, Mommy? Sorry. I loosened my grip, forced a smile. Sarah, I need to take him. Family emergency. Oh no, is everything... Fine, just need to go. I was already moving, Eli on my hip. He was getting too heavy to carry, but I couldn't let go. My bracelet! He reached back toward the break room. We'll get it later. Another lie. We weren't coming back. The parking garage was 3 blocks away. Snow had started while I was inside, thick flakes that stuck to everything. Eli shivered in his thin jacket. I'd forgotten his winter coat in the rush this morning. Cold, Mommy. I know, baby. Almost to the car. I wrapped my suit jacket around him, speed walking through empty streets. Every shadow could be someone watching. Every car that passed made me flinch. My ancient Honda sat alone on the 3rd level. I'd just strapped Eli into his car seat when footsteps echoed through the concrete structure. Isabel, wait! Connor, of course. The man had always been persistent. How did you... I followed you. He was breathing hard, snow in his hair. Please, something's wrong. I can see it. Let me help. You can't! I slammed Eli's door, moved to the driver's side. Connor blocked my path. Try me, whatever it is. Mommy? Eli's voice muffled through glass. Who's that man? The world stopped. Connor turned slowly, looked through the window at his son for the first time. I saw the exact moment understanding hit. His face went white, green eyes wide with shock. His voice broke. How old? Connor, please! How old? 4. The word hung between us like a blade. He did the math. I saw it happen. Oxford timeline. The pregnancy I'd hidden. His hand pressed against the window, and Eli waved back, curious about the stranger. His name? Eli. I was crying now, couldn't stop. Eli Thomas Moore. Not Blake? How could I? You were gone. Your family... I stopped. No point rehashing it now. Connor's legs seemed to give out. He sat hard on the concrete beside my car, head in his hands. I have a son. Jesus Christ, I have a son, and you never... I tried. The words ripped out of me. God, Connor, I tried, but you vanished. New number, emails bouncing back. And then your mother. What about my mother? Mommy, I'm cold. Just a minute, baby. I knelt beside Connor, decision made. He deserved the truth, even if it destroyed everything. Your mother came to Seattle, told me to disappear, said she'd ruin me if I tried to contact you. His head snapped up. What? She offered money. A lot of money. I refused, and she threatened. That's why you disappeared. Not a question. Understanding dawned in his eyes, followed by rage. She knew. All this time she knew. She's been watching us. Following Eli. I got messages tonight. I showed him the photos on my phone. His face went from white to red. I'll kill her. No, we're leaving. Tonight. I'll figure out somewhere to go. See you. Like hell. He stood, pulled out his phone. Marcus, it's Connor Blake. I need you to call security. No one leaves that ballroom, especially not my mother. I don't care what she says. Lock it down. What are you doing? Ending this. He helped me to my feet, gentle despite the fury radiating from him. Can I? He gestured toward the car. Can I meet him, properly? I looked at Eli, still patient in his car seat, playing with his dinosaur. My secret, my everything. Okay. Connor opened the door slowly, crouched to Eli's level. Hi, I'm a friend of your mom's. Hi. Eli studied him with those identical green eyes. You look sad. I was, but I'm better now. Connor's voice cracked. What's your dinosaur's name? Rex, he eats bad guys. Good job, Rex. Connor looked back at me. He's perfect. I know. We're going back to the hotel, he said, standing. All of us. And then we're going to fix this. The Blake family suite occupied the entire top floor of the Aspen Heights resort. Connor carried a sleeping Eli from the car, refusing to let me take him. I'd never seen him like this. Cold fury contained beneath careful movements. He's heavy, I protested. I've missed 4 years of carrying him. His voice was quiet, final. The private elevator opened directly into the suite. Luxury hit like a slap. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing Denver's lights. Furniture that cost more than I made in a year. This was the world Connor inhabited now. The world that would swallow my son whole. Guest bedrooms through there. Connor nodded toward a hallway. He can sleep while we sort this out. I settled Eli on the king-sized bed, surrounding him with pillows. He stirred, mumbled something about dinosaurs, then settled back into sleep. So innocent, so unaware of the storm about to break. When I returned to the living room, Connor stood at the windows, phone pressed to his ear. I don't care what time it is. Get here now. Yes, bring everything. Files, recordings, all of it. He hung up, turned to me. My lawyer, former FBI. He's been investigating some irregularities in my mother's campaign finances. Looks like we just found the connection. Connor, she knew. The words came out raw. My mother knew I had a son, and she kept him from me. Kept you from me. Made you think I'd abandoned you. You couldn't have known and... Couldn't I? He laughed, bitter. I knew what she was capable of. The length she'd go to protect the family image. I should have fought harder. Should have... The elevator chimed. Eliza Blake swept in like she owned the place, which, knowing her, she probably did. Her eyes found me first, then Connor. Darling, you left the party. Sit down, Mother. I beg your pardon? Sit down. Each word precise, dangerous. She sat, but her posture remained regal. If this is about that woman, her name is Isabel, and that boy sleeping in my guest room, his name is Eli, your grandson. I don't know what she's told you, but... Stop. Connor pulled out his phone, started recording. For once in your life, stop lying. I know you threatened her. I know you've been watching them. What I want to know is why. Eliza's mask finally cracked. You want to know why? Look in the mirror. You were 23, Connor. Brilliant future ahead of you. And she was nobody. A coffee shop girl with dead parents and community college credits. I loved her. You were thinking with your... She stopped, composed herself. You were young, infatuated. It would have passed. It never passed. The admission hung in the air. 5 years, Mother. I looked for her for 5 years. And now you've found her. Convenient timing, isn't it? Right when your poll numbers are climbing, when you're being mentioned for the presidential cabinet. Suddenly she appears with a child. Use your head, Connor. I am. For the first time in years, I'm thinking clearly. He moved to the bar, poured himself whiskey. Didn't offer any to us. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave Isabel and Eli alone, completely. No contact, no surveillance, no threats. Or what? Or I go public. Everything. The threats, the stalking, the cover-up. Nina Hartley would love the exclusive. Senator's mother hides secret grandchild. Hell of a headline. You wouldn't. The scandal would destroy your career. My career? Connor laughed. You think I care about that now? I have a son I've never held, never sung to sleep, never taught to throw a ball. You stole that from me. I protected you. You protected yourself, your image, your precious political dynasty. He drained the whiskey. It ends tonight. The elevator chimed again. Nina Hartley stepped out, surprising everyone. Sorry I'm late. Traffic was murder. She looked between us, smiled sharp. Senator Blake, Mrs. Blake, Isabel. Cozy little family meeting. How did you... Eliza started. Get up here? Connor called me. Nina pulled out a recorder. See, I've been investigating you for months, Mrs. Blake. Campaign finance violations are just the tip. But a cover-up involving a secret grandchild? That's Pulitzer material. You're all crazy. Eliza stood. This is extortion. No, Nina said quietly. This is journalism. And justice. See, I know exactly who you are, Mrs. Blake, what you're capable of. I've never met you before tonight. No? Let me refresh your memory. 15 years ago, a 16-year-old foster kid tried to report that the prestigious Blake Foundation was embezzling funds meant for at-risk youth. Remember what happened to her? Eliza went very still. Suddenly, her foster family decided she was too much trouble. She got shuffled to a group home, then another, then another. College recommendations mysteriously vanished. Scholarship applications denied. Nina's smile was all teeth. That girl grew up to be a reporter, Mrs. Blake, and she's very, very patient. The silence stretched until I thought it might snap. Then Eliza Blake did something I'd never imagined. She laughed. Quiet at first, then louder until it bordered on hysteria. 15 years, she said to Nina. You've waited 15 years for revenge? Not revenge. Truth. Nina's recorder never wavered. Want to make a statement? Connor. Eliza turned to her son, mask entirely gone now. You don't understand. Everything I've done... Save it. Connor moved to the elevator, pressed the button. We're going back downstairs, all of us. The party's over by now, I protested. No, the real party's just starting. His smile was sharp as Nina's. Mother forgot. Tonight's being broadcast live on Colorado Public Television. Fundraiser of the year. Cameras are still rolling. Eliza's face drained of color. You wouldn't? Watch me. The elevator arrived. Coming? We rode down in suffocating silence. I kept thinking of Eli, safe upstairs, unaware his life was about to change forever. When the doors opened to the ballroom, half the guests remained, champagne flowing, unaware of the bomb about to drop. Connor strode to the stage, took the microphone. The room gradually quieted. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the interruption, but I have an announcement that can't wait. Cameras swiveled toward him. Nina had positioned herself perfectly in frame, recorder visible. 4 years ago, I became a father. Gasps rippled through the crowd. I didn't know this until tonight. The mother of my child, the woman I loved, was threatened into silence by someone I trusted, someone who valued political ambition over family. Connor, stop. Eliza's voice carried from the back of the room, but he continued. I'm standing here tonight not as your senator, but as a father who's missed 4 years of his son's life, as a man who let power corrupt the people closest to him. He looked directly at the cameras. I've spoken often about family values, about protecting Colorado's children, but I failed to protect my own child from the very forces I claim to fight against. The room erupted. Reporters surged forward, shouting questions. Security moved to block them, but Connor waved them off. I'll take questions. But first, I need to say this. Effective immediately. I'm taking a leave of absence from the Senate. My priorities need realignment. My son deserves a father who puts him first. Senator Blake, a reporter pushed forward. Are you acknowledging an affair? No affair. A relationship that was sabotaged by my own family's interference. Where is the child now? Safe. With his mother, who's shown more strength and integrity than anyone in my family, myself included. Is this political suicide? Another reporter called out. Connor laughed, but it wasn't bitter anymore. Probably, but you know what? Some things matter more than politics. I watched from the service entrance, hidden in shadows. This was Connor's show, his family's implosion. I just wanted to grab Eli and run. But something held me there. Maybe the way he kept glancing toward where he'd last seen me, like he was doing this for us. Senator Blake! Nina's voice cut through the chaos. Your mother's been accused of witness intimidation, harassment, and stalking. Comment? The cameras found Eliza, standing frozen near the door. For the first time in her life, she had no escape route. My mother, Connor said slowly, has lost sight of what family means. But I pray she'll remember. Because she has a grandson who deserves to know her. If she can remember how to be a grandmother instead of a politician. Eliza Blake, the woman who'd terrorized me for 5 years, crumpled into a chair and began to cry. That's all for tonight. Connor set down the microphone, walked off the stage through the mob of reporters. He found me in my hiding spot, took my hands. "I'm sorry," he said, "for all of it. For leaving, for not fighting harder for my family, and—" "Shh." I touched his face, felt tears I hadn't realized I was crying. "We have bigger problems now, like explaining to a 4-year-old why his face is about to be all over the news." "Together?" His voice broke on the word. "We'll see." It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a start. Behind us, the ballroom descended into chaos. Cameras captured everything. Eliza being escorted out by her lawyers, Nina giving impromptu interviews, donors fleeing like rats from a sinking ship. "Come on," Connor said. "Let's go get our son." Our son. The words I'd never thought I'd hear him say. 6 months later, I stood in my new kitchen, watching snow fall on suburban Denver. Smaller than the mountain lodge, bigger than our old apartment, just right for a new start. "Mommy, look!" Eli ran in, proudly displaying a pasta art project. "Connor helped me make a dinosaur." Connor, not Dad, not yet. We were taking it slow, letting Eli set the pace. Some days he called Connor by name, some days Mr. once, heart-stopping, Daddy, before quickly changing it. Progress came in inches, not miles. "That's beautiful, baby. Should we hang it on the fridge?" "Next to my other one." He ran off to get magnets, nearly colliding with Connor in the doorway. "Careful, buddy." Connor steadied him, then looked at me. "Sarah just called. She's wondering if Eli wants a play date with her daughter this weekend." Sarah had become a real friend through everything. One of the few who'd stuck around after the media circus died down. "That sounds nice." Connor moved into the kitchen, still tentative in our shared space. He'd insisted on buying the house, but putting it in my name. "Your choice," he'd said. "Always your choice to stay or go." The doorbell rang before I could respond. Through the peephole, I saw a familiar figure and sighed. "It's your mother." Connor's jaw tightened. "I'll send her away." "No." I touched his arm. "Let her in." Eliza. Blake looked nothing like the woman who'd threatened me. Months of public humiliation had worn her down. Gray roots showing, designer clothes replaced by simple wool. She held a wrapped gift, hands trembling. "Isabel, thank you for—" "Oh, he's in the living room," I said, not ready for pleasantries. 5 minutes. She nodded, defeated. We'd allowed these visits, supervised, brief, because Connor believed in redemption. I wasn't there yet, might never be. But Eli deserved the chance to know his grandmother, even if I'd never trust her alone with him. "Hi, Grandma Liza." Eli's greeting was cautious but kind. Kids forgave easier than adults. "Hello, sweetheart. I brought you something." I watched from the doorway as she helped him unwrap a book, Where the Wild Things Are, the same one I'd read him 100 times. "I already have this one," Eli said honestly. "I know, but this was your daddy's when he was little. See?" She opened the cover, showed him childish scrawl. He wrote his name. Eli traced the letters with one finger, wonder in his eyes. "Daddy's book?" "That's right, and now it's yours." It was manipulation, probably. Everything with Eliza had layers. But Eli clutched the book like treasure, and I couldn't steal that joy from him. The doorbell rang again. Nina this time, laptop under her arm. "Advance copy of the article," she said, handing Connor a flash drive. "Wanted you to see it first." She'd written the book, of course. Instant bestseller. But this article was different. A follow-up focused on redemption, second chances, the complexity of family. She'd interviewed us all, even Eliza. The woman knew how to work every angle. "It's fair," Connor said after scanning it. "More than fair." "I owe you that much." Nina glanced at me. "Both of you. My editor wants a sequel to the book. The happy ending readers crave." "Is it?" I asked. "A happy ending?" She shrugged. "Depends on your definition. But you're all here, aren't you? Still standing, still trying. That's more than most get." After she left, we settled into our new routine. Eliza reading to Eli, Connor cooking dinner. He'd learned, wanting to contribute something beyond money. I painted at the kitchen table, half listening to Eli's chatter about preschool friends. "City council meeting tomorrow?" Connor mentioned casually. "Want to come?" He'd kept his promise, stepped back from the Senate, focused on local politics where he could be home every night. The presidential cabinet position had gone to someone else. He claimed not to care. "Will there be cookies?" Eli asked hopefully. Probably boring cookies, Connor admitted. But you could see where I work. Can I bring Rex? Sure, buddy. I watched them negotiate dinosaur attendance at government meetings and felt something I'd almost forgotten. Hope. Not the desperate kind I'd clung to while pregnant and alone, but real hope. The kind built on daily choices, small victories, forgiveness granted in increments. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. My heart still jumped at those, might always. But it was just a wrong number. Someone looking for a pizza place. Everything okay? Connor asked, noticing my relief. Yeah, everything's okay. And for the first time in 5 years, I meant it. Through the window, snow continued falling, covering old tracks, making everything clean and new. Eli laughed at something in his grandmother's story. Connor reached over, squeezed my hand. Not perfect, not a fairy tale, but ours.